Hey guys, I wanted to make a quick introductory video today about the leaky gut hypothesis of health. This is a very big, poorly researched, controversial topic that I think is very important. And I think by the time I end my career as a physician, I think it will be widely accepted as a serious contributor to various health problems. Similar to how modern medicine, really appreciates the profoundly harmful effects of chronic low-grade inflammation. I think likewise that in a couple decades, gut leakiness or intestinal hyperpermeability is also going to be recognized as a serious contributor to poor health, physical and mental. So I have dozens of videos in the works for this concept. So today is just an introductory video, but there's a few things that I want to kind of highlight for this bird's eye view of leaky gut. So the idea of the leaky gut hypothesis or leaky gut syndrome is that there's a very thin layer of cells called enterocytes that line your gut. And if you think of our digestive system from our mouth to our anus, it's essentially just a tube. And we, every time we eat food, we are introducing the outside world into our bodies. So it's really important that whatever is in our gut stays in our gut, especially because our gut, there are hundreds of billions, if not trillions, of bacteria, both good and bad, that are inside our intestinal lumen, or the inside our gut. And regardless of if these bacteria that are part of the microbiome, regardless of if they're considered good or bad, any bacteria or any bacterial endotoxin that leaches from the inside of the gut into the bloodstream is very dangerous and harmful. So, we have this thin layer of enterocytes that is like the gatekeepers, the only thing that's really barricading our bloodstream, our body, our brain from the outside world and from the endless amounts of bacteria and endotoxin from bacteria that's in our gut. So, and these enterocytes kind of link hands. You guys remember playing like Red Rover growing up, where you have this line and you're all holding hands. So the cells that line our gut are kind of holding hands very tightly with their neighbors to create this barricade, and these are called tight junctions. And when tight junctions become disrupted, damaged, or if there's frank apoptosis of enterocytes, like some of the actual cells that are part of your gut barrier, if those actually just die or get destroyed, now there's going to be these serious gaps in which things from inside your gut can then leach into your circulation. So generally, our gut is really good at maintaining this very specific balance of permeability, right? There's certain things are supposed to be able to cross easily and passively from our gut into our bloodstream, like water, certain electrolytes. They can kind of just go straight through. They're so small that they can just walk past these tight junctions. So there's paracellular translocation of normal healthy things from our gut into our blood. But what happens if these tight junctions become disrupted, or some enterocytes actually start dying, and now we have these massive gaps in this lining, now all sorts of things can cross into our gut, into our blood, right? So, and the one that concerns me the most is called lipopolysaccharide, or LPS for short. LPS is this long molecule that sticks kind of out of the cell wall of gram-negative bacteria. LPS is also known as endotoxin. There's enough LPS in your gut, if it were to be removed, put into a syringe, there's enough LPS in anyone's gut to kill a whole room of people. And even small amounts of LPS that get into the blood from having this increased intestinal permeability or increased gut leakiness, that is going to cause systemic inflammation. And we know this, and this has been studied heavily. We know pretty clearly what happens if LPS gets into the blood. So lipopolysaccharide, so let's come up with like a classic example. Something happens to someone's gut, maybe they just had viral gastroenteritis, they ate something that seriously irritated their gut lining. Things that are known to irritate the gut are things like industrial emulsifiers, things like soy lecithin, carrageenan, things that are in like every food you can imagine if you buy them in a package or in a box. You know, something that, you know, you have some sort of gut insult that inflames the gut, it disrupts the tight junctions, maybe it actually kills some enterocytes. Now, lipopolysaccharide from the bacteria that is naturally in your gut can kind of just waltz straight through these gaps in your gut lining into your blood. And once that happens, there is this ancient molecule that's part of mammals' innate immune system that has been part of mammalian immune system stuff for millions of years. So LPS will specifically bind to what's called toll-like receptor 4. And once LPS binds to toll-like receptor 4, toll-like receptor 4, its job is to alarm your entire immune system, essentially, that there is an intruder and that the body needs to ramp up its inflammation. You know, there's going to be a cascade of cytokines, these inflammatory molecules that kind of like toll-like receptor 4 will sound the alarm to start activating your white blood cells, etc., etc. So, you know, for whatever reason, gut becomes hyperpermeable due to inflammation or some sort of, you know, damage or insult to the enterocytes or the tight junctions. LPS, or endotoxin, from gram-negative bacteria translocate from the gut lumen into the blood. So this is called LPS translocation. Toll-like receptor 4 binds to the LPS, and it's game over from there. You will have a flurry of inflammation that is teeming in your blood and in your brain. In other videos, we'll discuss this more in depth. I think it's interesting that so many scientists and researchers and doctors kind of just turn up their noses at the idea of, leaky gut syndrome, saying, oh, well, there's not enough studies to know. It's like, okay, I want to be fair about that. You know, I try to follow evidence-based medicine the best I can as well, but all of the individual parts of this mechanism that we just discussed together, these are all very, very clearly true and not controversial at all. You know, let's say you received a box in the mail that had, you know, this metal shaft, this metal handle, there's a trigger, it comes with bullets, and you realize it's an unassembled firearm. You know, one could say, oh, well, we don't know for sure this is dangerous. It hasn't been set up yet. But, you know, you can, if all of the parts are there and there's an instruction manual showing how to put it together and you can kind of connect the dots logically, you can be pretty confident that the whole picture is going to spell out that this is dangerous. And that is the same thing with having a leaky gut. All of the components that we know are true, you know, form this very clear, rational situation that causes systemic inflammation. And I personally do take this very seriously. I think the studies are strongly suggestive that having a leaky gut causes, you know, systemic inflammation, which we know is harmful for a whole litany of medical problems, including things like depression, anhedonia, all sorts of mental health problems. So I'm excited to explore this concept more with you guys. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions in the comments, or if there's any specific components of, you know, this leaky gut hypothesis that you'd like me to explore in future videos. All right, thanks.